Hey, what's going on, everybody? Steve with the K Business Academy, joined with my good friend Cody Hawk. And today we're going to be talking about Kindle, Createspace, and in particular, we're going to be talking about physical books and using Createspace and turning your Kindle books into physical books, because we've been getting a lot of questions about that lately. So we wanted to make a video just talking about it and giving you guys some tips and tricks to help you along the process and to improve your business. But before we get into that, a little bit about myself. I have been working on my own for over 2 years now. Started off as reselling eBay, Amazon, ended up getting into Kindle over a year ago, and Createspace and ACX. Been doing a lot of that. Love the entrepreneur lifestyle, love giving back, love teaching people. And that's a little bit about myself. And now I'm going to pass it over to Cody Hawk. Why don't you tell everybody who you are, what you do, and just give a little overview.
What's going on, guys? My name is Cody Hawk. Like Steve said, part of the K Business Academy, a course that we set up together. Also, I do a lot of other things on my main hub, freelancewrangler.com, do a lot of Kindle publishing, do a lot of marketing. Been an entrepreneur for quite some time. Got into Createspace not too long ago, so really excited to be talking about this topic with you guys. Personally, been doing it for roughly 6 months. Also got my own book coming out, so I'm using that with Createspace as well. So really exciting topic for today.
Absolutely, man. Really excited about this. And I was actually talking to a buddy about this the other day, and I said, you know, I wish I would have gotten to this sooner, because I remember having a conversation with a friend. It was a while ago, and I said, why are you publishing on Createspace? It's a waste of time. You know, I was talking to people, and they were telling me you can't make money from it, and it's difficult, and it's, you know, it's just not worth it. And looking back now, I say, wow, I wish I would have got started with it sooner, because once I started getting into publishing physical books through Createspace, my income started to really increase and started making a lot more sales. So why don't you tell them, Cody, a little bit about your experience with Createspace, maybe what you know about, like, what is Createspace for somebody who is maybe brand spanking new and maybe they've only published a Kindle book or they're looking to publish a physical book. Why don't you talk about what exactly is Createspace for the rookies out there?
For the rookies out there, Createspace is basically your own publisher. So self-publishing has been on the rise for years now. It's really opened things up. No longer do you have to be kind of picked to be able to publish a book. You can have a physical book. So like I just said, my book, which is coming out later this year, is going to go through Createspace. Or if you're a Kindle publisher and you're building pen names or authority around names, not only can you publish on Kindle, you can have the audio version, and you can also have the physical version. So Createspace is amazing because it allows you to have a physical copy of your book.
Absolutely. And, you know, I can't say this enough. When it comes to your content, you really want to make sure that you're catering to your customers, catering to your market, because some people, they prefer to read a Kindle book, maybe off their cell phone or off their desktop or off of an iPad or anything like that. And then there's others who are going to want to consume the content through the actual physical book. And, you know, some people like to read before they go to sleep. Some people like to read while they're traveling or while they're doing this and that. So the cool thing about Createspace is you're catering to an entirely different market, right? You're catering to somebody who may not be interested in your Kindle book or someone who may not be interested in your audiobook. So that's something that I really like about that as well. And one of the cool things about being published as a Createspace author, having a physical book, is not only will your book be found if you published it on Kindle, not only will it be found in the Kindle market when someone searches on Amazon, but they'll also search, if they find you through, if they're searching through the books category, they could also find you that way as well. So Cody, what's been your experience with having, you know, a Createspace book? Have you found that you've gotten more sales on your Kindle books or more sales on your ACX books just based on, you know, being open to a bigger market?
Yeah, bigger market is key because you got to really cater to who your customer potentially is. For myself, for an example, I travel a fair amount. When I'm on a plane, I typically bring 1 or 2 physical books. So even though I got my iPad or my laptop, I almost always bring a physical book with me. I read a physical book every single morning. I read for about 20 to 40 minutes every morning. And so you really got to cater to that market because you are losing potential customers. Like what you were saying at the beginning of this, when you wish you would have started earlier, you lost a lot of potential customers because there's plenty of people out there like me that for every 1 Kindle book I read, I probably read 6 or 8 physical books, and that's just the way that I like to consume content, is in the physical format. So really being able to, and the audio, when I'm jogging or when I'm lifting weights or when I'm driving in my car, I listen to podcasts and audiobooks. So really being diverse in the way that your content is published is very important.
And when I'm searching for a book, maybe I'm looking for something on productivity, just as an example. When I'm searching on, maybe let's just say Kindle, or I'm just looking for a random book, if I see that an author has a book published not only on Kindle, but for Createspace and on different platforms, it just makes the book look that much more legit. It makes it look professional, and it just helps you to stand out from the crowd, because I've noticed that most authors and publishers, they're only publishing on Kindle, right? They're doing the bare minimum because it's really easy to put it on Kindle, and Createspace is as well, but it doesn't seem like a lot of people know about it. But it really helps you to stand out and separate yourself from the crowd. And the amazing thing about Createspace now is when you actually create a Createspace book, you don't actually have to, hire out or what's the word I'm looking for? You don't actually have to order like hundreds of books or 50 or 60 books at a time and have them shipped to your house and fulfill the orders yourself. The cool thing is with Createspace, it's actually print on demand, which is amazing, because pretty much what that means is when you have your physical book up on the Amazon site, when somebody buys it, all that's really happening is Amazon's printing the book when somebody buys it. It doesn't cost you any money out of your pocket. They're shipping it. They're dealing with customer service and everything. And the cool thing about Createspace books, I'm not sure if you know about this, Cody, but if they return the book, you still get paid. So, for example, let's just say you buy a book from me and it's a physical book, and you read it, you don't like it, or for one reason or another, maybe you purchased the wrong book. If you return that book, Amazon's actually eating that cost. So for you as a publisher, it's really cool because, once in a while there's returns, it happens, but you don't actually have to bite the bullet on it. So that's really cool. Anything you want to touch on with print on demand, or
it's
that
the
type of
most
stuff?
Yeah, it's the most amazing phenomenon out there. I don't think a lot of people realize how powerful print on demand is. The cost of Amazon to actually be able to do this is unparalleled to just about anything. The average person couldn't set up a print on demand. So the fact that we have the ability to not only give digital copies, audio copies, physical copies through Amazon, it's the most powerful platform out there. But yeah, it's amazing what we can do. If you guys have any questions about Createspace or publishing right now, go ahead and leave them in the comments, and we're going to get to a Q&A here in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for mentioning that, because, we're doing this live because we want to interact with you, right? We want to help you. We want to answer your questions. So any questions that you have, especially if they're pertaining to Createspace today, we'd love to help you. But even if it's anything else, concerning publishing, just drop a comment below. But, Cody, what's been your experience with the quality of these books? Because I tell you right now, the cost that you're incurring for these books, it's very bare minimum. So you'd think to yourself, if it's only costing a few bucks to get these books printed, that they're really, poor quality. The covers are bad. It's flimsy. What's been your experience? Are the books nice? Are they high quality? What do you think?
Oh, they're amazing. And one thing that a lot of people got to understand, it was only a couple of years ago when self-publishing was looked at like, oh, wow, anybody can do that. Complete joke. What you got to understand is New York Times bestsellers, self-published. 50 Shades of Grey, which is a controversial movie and book, that was self-published and blew up. A lot of huge books nowadays are self-published as a testing ground. Also, huge authors like Robert Kiyosaki, James Altucher, who's one of my favorite podcasters, they're huge advocates of self-publishing. A lot of big names, even Tim Ferriss has bounced around self-publishing, and even if he didn't do it on Amazon, creating a small publishing company, all it is print on demand, exactly like Amazon. So self-publishing no longer is kind of this frowned upon, looked at, unique thing. It's something that has blown up and has changed lives for millions of people who are amazing writers, but they were picked, kind of like YouTube changed things for me and you, because frankly, we were probably never going to be on a TV show or never going to be, picked by Hollywood.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, you might have been, but I definitely wasn't going to be. But now I can reach tens of thousands of people through my YouTube channel, through email marketing, through the internet, and it's just another powerful tool that can change your life.
So one of my good friends, Chris Green over with Scan Power, he talks about the power of having an actual physical book. So for example, let's just say that you are, in the eBay market or you're in the Amazon market, you want to teach people, you want to help people. By actually having a book and being an established author, it really helps you to stand out, to be an authority figure. And, I had the privilege to be in the car with Chris Green for about 7 hours. This was quite a few, maybe 2 months ago. We went to it was like a meetup group, a little learning event. And he talked about how it really changed his life by publishing a book. And I can't say it enough. If you really want to stand out, if you want to be an authority figure, if you want to be somebody who people listen to, having a physical book is absolutely huge. So I can't say it enough. It really, really is something important. But let me ask you, Cody, do you actually, when it comes to converting your Kindle books to Createspace books, are you actually doing this process yourself, or could you actually outsource this to somebody as well? Because I know in our course over at the K Business Academy, we talk about outsourcing a lot. So what are your thoughts on outsourcing this portion?
Yeah, outsourcing is priority for me because I run so many different businesses. So this whole thing could be outsourced, literally the entire business. And I know for both of us, we've kind of set it up for the processes. We only take on small, pieces of it and outsource a lot. But yeah, Createspace could absolutely be outsourced, and you could really scale up some of the content that you already have. What we've both done that I know is we've kind of recycled a lot of our content. We've taken the content that was already selling for us, turned them into audiobooks and Createspace books. So it's a great way to maximize your profit off something that you paid for once, and you can keep getting income streams off different platforms.
And the cool thing about the Createspace books as well, I wanted to mention, is you could actually sell them for a higher price as well and make more money. So for example, with like a Kindle book, if you're only selling it for, let's say $2.99, you're going to make probably $2 royalty. If you sell it for $3.99, you might make, $2.50, something around there. But if you have a really, and it's going to depend on the length of the book, but let's just say you have a 50 or 60 page book. I mean, you could easily get 10, 15 bucks for it, if not more. And I've got some buddies who have some pretty lengthy books, high quality books, who are charging 20, 30 bucks a book and selling a ton of them. So the profit margins are definitely higher for the Createspace books. So I can't say it enough. I mean, repurposing your content is absolutely huge. Not only are you going to reach other markets and have influence on other customers, but you're going to be able to make more money and be able to spread the word out more and more. And if you actually optimize your books properly with, email marketing and building lists and stuff like that, it really could help you to really revolutionize your brand. Because at the end of the day, I can't say it enough, brand is huge. I see so many people who, when they're publishing on Kindle, and I did this at first as well, they're kind of going like the shotgun approach, right? They're just publishing a bunch of random books on different topics. They're jumping from sporting to crafts to fishing to this and that, and they're never really establishing themselves as an authority figure. So I think that's something that everybody should consider. But with that being said, let's actually jump into the comments, Cody, and see who's in there. You want to shout some people out?
Yeah, there's several people in there. Tristan, Matt, his real name. Sven is in here, who is a KBA member. Kelly's in here, who's a KBA member. Got a comment from On One Life to Live. Kelly actually asked a good question. Do you ever publish on Createspace and then Kindle? If so, do you see any benefits? I see the option on Createspace, but I've never used it. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I've never done that before. I've always published Kindle first, because with Kindle, I like to build that up first because they're reviews. So say you get 10 or 15 reviews on your book, that's going to go over to Createspace as well. So when people see your Createspace book, they're going to see those reviews. So I like to build up the Kindle book as well. Kindle book first before I do Createspace. I do see the option on there to turn it into a Kindle book, but I've never done it myself, but I've heard that it's been a little funky with the formatting and stuff. So personally, honestly, I would just publish on Kindle first, make sure that, you get it all reviewed up, that it's high quality, that it's selling, and then I would publish it on Createspace, and then the next step would be to put it on ACX, Audible.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. See a lot of K Business Academy members in the comments, which is awesome. Louis the Seller, what's up, buddy? He says, what's up, guys?
Louis.
When I hire an ebook cover creator, do I specifically need to look oh my gosh, I lost it. Do I specifically need to look at someone that will create 2 separate covers, or one Kindle and another for Createspace, or does the Kindle cover convert to Createspace? Thanks. Do you want to take it, or do you want me to?
Yeah, I mean, you could touch on it. I'll touch on it after you as well.
So, Louis, yeah, I mean, Createspace is a physical book, so you're going to have the spine, and you're also going to have the back, and you're going to have the ISBN on the back, maybe, you know, about your author. You're going to have the title on the spine. So you're going to need a separate cover for that, especially if it's a book you're writing and branding. I know some people have experimented with just a front cover, which is a possibility, and it's not going to be the end of the world, almost more like pamphlet style, especially if it's a smaller number of pages. So technically for me, I'm doing 2 separate covers, and myself and Steve have some really awesome stuff we'll be announcing in about a month talking about that. But ultimately, I'm typically doing 2 separate covers. What about you?
Yeah, Louis. So it really depends. If you've got like a longer book and it's thick enough, then definitely make sure you do the spine. But if it's only a 20 or 30 page book and it's really small and, you know, you're charging $2.99, excuse me, that's Createspace, never mind. If it's really small and maybe you're only charging, you know, $5.99 or $6 or $7.99, I mean, regardless of the price, it's going to be the thickness is going to be too small to actually get the spine on it. So you're going to do the front cover. All you have to do is turn that actual JPEG or whatever file you have for your Kindle cover, turn that into a PDF. That'll be the front. But if it's a small book, skip the spine, but definitely do the back of the book, you know, the about, or just give a little overview. That'll definitely help it to look more professional. You know, if you want to just, you know, do the quick shortcut way, you could just do the front. They'll accept it, and Createspace is really good at reformatting your book and making sure that it passes through. So a lot of times you'll actually create the Createspace book, and it'll say that they fix certain things like the I don't know the terminology, but based on like how far close the text is to the end of the page, and they'll format little weird things like that. But they're really good with that. But honestly, you could get away with the front, but it's just not going to look as professional.
I got a question for you, Steve. Do you, on Createspace, do you actually take the step of getting a sample of your book, or do you just publish it?
So when I first got started, I did order a lot of samples just because I was new to the process and I wanted to make sure that it looked good. And when I first started, I was just doing the front covers. That's all. And I sampled with that. And then I sampled with the spine, with the small books, realized that didn't work out. And then I sampled with, you know, everything all done with the cover and the formatting and everything. So at this point, if it's a really thick book and it's something that's going to be selling for maybe more than $12, I'll order a sample. But I pretty much gotten the hang of it. But if you're new, I'd highly recommend to order a sample. It's really cheap. I think it comes to maybe like $4 or $5 with shipping, for just depending on the length of it and if it's black and white, which I'm sure it is. If you have a lot of pictures and you're doing like full color, right, it's going to be really expensive. I've never done anything like that. But definitely when you're new, definitely, I mean, it can't hurt. It's an investment, right? It's a write-off, and it's cool. It's cool to see your actual book come in the mail and see your idea actually come into a physical form. So yeah. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm like pretty much on the exact same thing as you. If it's $10, $12, I'll order a sample just to make sure. Because one thing Steve touched on, you don't get charged if you get a return. However, you start getting a whole bunch of returns, Amazon will pull the book, and it can't hurt your account. Because if you've got a piece of garbage book, so keep that in mind. There's no way to beat the system. But yeah, I'm just like you. I get samples if it's like $10, $12. If it's just a couple dollar book, I just kind of let it go. Typically, I've got the hang of it as well. Got another awesome question. Damien actually says, "What's up, guys, from the Kindle Business Academy?" I like seeing our community over here. Got some amazing people in the K Business Academy community. I like seeing them all jump on the Hangout. But we got a really good question from Andrew, who again is a K Business Academy member. What is the best way to build an email list using Kindle, Createspace, and audio? So he's asking, what's the best way to kind of build your email list to grow your authority, your brand? How do you build that for those books?
Take it away, Cody, because you're really the expert when it comes to this.
So what I would recommend, Andrew, is I would recommend building authority around your author. For example, when I launch my personal book, I've got a lot of outlets to push that book out instantly, and I'll start selling quite a few copies right away because I've got kind of a name behind myself, and I've got websites with a lot of traffic. Like Freelance Wrangler has a lot of traffic. My email list has a lot of people. For you, what I would recommend doing, and what I've been doing recently, I'm actually going to do some videos on this in the K Business Academy, which is going to be a cool little mini series I want to do, kind of like our Steve's case study he did, which was awesome, is I'm going to basically be building around my authors kind of an authority. So Mark Twain was a pen name, right? Well, I'm doing something similar, not Mark Twain, but some pen names I've really built authority on. And what I've been doing is I've building websites for these authors, these ghostwriters, and I've been building it up that way so you could give away free giveaways, bonus content. And what I've done was I've actually already amassed, in 2 months, I've amassed just over 1,100 subscribers. Very little money marketing this, but because I have an email list and I've got blog content that I actually outsource, which I'm going to show all this in the K Business Academy when I get this series going shortly, then you can actually start building authority that way. So I would recommend building authority around your author. And also, if you're not going to do that, build authority around your niche. So whether it's woodworking or fishing or knitting or whatever it may be, start building authority around a specific niche. Don't go too broad, because then, you know, people will lose interest quickly.
It's amazing. So many people, they overlook the core, that it's got to be quality. It's got to be something that actually adds value and makes a difference. And you see a lot of these people out there who are, you know, they're making claims about Kindle and Createspace and, you know, saying it's unethical and you shouldn't create a book if you're not a writer, this and that. But honestly, at the end of the day, and I've said this so many times, but I feel like I have to drill it into people's heads because they're not listening. If your book is not high quality, doesn't help somebody, doesn't make a difference in their life, it will not sell. It will get negative reviews. Amazon will realize it's not selling. They will push it down into the algorithm, so it doesn't show up on the first page, the second page, the third page, and you will not make any money. I can't say it enough. If you really want to, if you just want to make money and do decent, the bare minimum you have to do is make sure it adds value. If you really want to take things to the next level and make a huge dent and really make some good money, not only does it have to be high quality, but you've got to do these things like optimize the back end and build email lists and repurpose your content and create amazing covers and make sure that you have a team helping you promote it and market it. And that's really why we're doing these hangouts, because we're trying to help people and make a difference and help you to grow. I mean, there's so many different routes you can take with this. It's not just Kindle. It's not just Createspace. We're teaching principles that could help you in all different areas of life. It could be blogging. It could be, brick and mortar business. I mean, there's so many commonalities and so many crossovers I've just seen in different businesses and stuff. But I mean, it's huge. You've got to make sure that it's value. And if it's high value and it's really something that helps someone and makes a difference, you can create a huge following around your actual author pen name or your own name. And you could funnel that traffic into different things and really, really make a difference. I can't say it enough. What are your thoughts, Cody?
Yeah, I mean, do these people honestly think Amazon, one of the largest companies on planet Earth, is going to allow a scam going through? And then they say, well, it's not ethical to not use your name. So Mark freaking Twain is not ethical. Every single actor and person in Hollywood who has a book that they wrote, yeah, right, they looked at it like once. I've seen so many authors or so many celebrities talk about their books. They've read it like the day one, just like everyone else. Like half of them don't even have a say. It's all ghost written. Like a lot of people don't realize people are looking for quality content, and the people me and you are hiring are experienced quality writers. That's why our books sell. We don't get no Joe Blow writers. Then the next thing is outsourcing to the Philippines. I'm sorry, but the people in the Philippines are some of the hardest workers I've ever met. If I find people around here that would work that hard, and I do have American writers. I absolutely do have American writers. But I'll tell you right now, these people in the Philippines work harder than just about anybody I've ever met in my life. So that's kind of what I have to say about it. It's absolutely ridiculous when you talk about pen names, which have been around for 100 years. When you talk about Amazon, the largest company in the world, and we talk about ghostwriting, which is probably a multi-billion-dollar-a-year industry. Like, it's just uneducated people who don't have a clue. That's all it is.
Don't judge a book by its cover, because there's been times in my life, different business opportunities I've passed up and things I didn't start because I was taking advice from people who had no clue. I mean, just as an example, to go off on a little rant for a second, when I first quit my job to sell on Craigslist and eBay and selling clothing, my friends were saying I was crazy. My family was saying I was crazy. Everyone was looking at me like, why are you doing this? It's impossible. don't judge a book by its cover, and don't take advice from people who don't know what they're talking about. Take advice from people who have been around the block before, people who have done it, because I can't say it enough. If you don't actually experience things for yourself and try it out, I mean, try out Createspace. Who cares what the next guy says about Createspace if it's good or bad? I missed out on tens of thousands of dollars by not starting Createspace over 6, 7, 8 months ago, because I heard this person told me this about Createspace, the next person told me this, and I never started it. Dive into something, right? Educate yourself. Be willing to invest in yourself. Learn. See how it works. See if it works for you, because because it didn't work for someone else doesn't mean it doesn't work. So I know I'm going crazy right now, but it drives me nuts when I see people judging a book by its cover, because there's so many opportunities out there, guys, with Kindle, with Createspace, with all these different businesses. So I'm really excited about the future and helping everybody out, because there's enough to go around for everybody. There really is.
7 billion people, 7 billion, and more are getting online every single day. There's plenty to go around. And yeah, don't take advice from people who don't have a freaking clue. It's just like everyone's got financial advice, but sadly 90% of the people don't even have a measly couple grand to their name. Everyone's got an opinion, but most of them are based on nothing. I'm not saying take mine or Steve's opinion. Forget about us. Go out there and look at the big picture. I say in all of my YouTube videos, if you follow my channel, to go out and get advice from 3, 4, 5 people. I've said that in literally dozens of videos. I know you guys have heard me say that. Don't just take our advice as gospel. Go out and get other opinions, but don't take opinions from people who've never done anything and they're just mad at the process.
There's so many different directions you folks could go. Like he said, don't take our advice. We're not trying to preach to you and tell you to do this and this is what you have to do. We're just sharing with you guys what's been working for us, how we've been making a really good income, and just trying to spread the word and help everybody out. There's a lot of different courses out there. There's a lot of good information, but the key is to just, learn for yourself, right? Because there's nobody who's going to be better at what you do than you. So just do it. Dive into it. Make it happen. You can do it. We got any more comments in the YouTube feed? Anybody else we could shout out?
Yeah, RB3 is in there. Robert Bagley, who's got an awesome YouTube channel. He does a show as well. Great guy. We've actually been on his show recently, but he said, Bill O'Reilly, you think he writes those books? I don't for a second. I agree with you, Robert. I don't think I know Britney Spears ain't out there writing books. I know all these celebrities are writing books. He also says, hey guys, new with K Academy. He actually joined the K Business Academy, and he's been doing awesome stuff. He said, great stuff. Question, I'm working on my first Createspace book on my lessons learned in Amazon FBA, which I think is going to be awesome. I will be purchasing that, Robert. It's 45 pages. I have a YouTube channel with 2,500 subs. If you haven't checked out Robert, go check him out. And a Facebook group with 1,000+ people. I have an email list with a good following on MailChimp, 700 emails. So he's got a nice little base core following. How do you recommend I market this book? Well, since how it's a personal book based on your following, and you're a guy who's already got some success in the field. I know a lot of people have been following your journey from the start. He quit a really high-paying job to, work for himself, and based on that, I would start, you've already got a good following in the Amazon FBA niche. That's kind of your thing right now. And you're going to do lessons learned, which is going to be a very important book because there's so many people jumping in. So I would eitherwise, if you have a blog, or which I'm sure you do, or a website, I would dedicate, a page or a site to this book, and I would start funneling traffic through it. I would build your autoresponder. Personally, I would use GetResponse over MailChimp because it's going to be a hard conversion, and you can get started for like $25 a month. I'm sitting here talking to my microphone. I'm not even looking at the camera. But I would use GetResponse, Robert, because it's worth the plunge right now for a measly $25. I know for Robert that's nothing, but for all of you guys watching, utilizing a legitimate email client is very, very important. Not that there's anything wrong with MailChimp, but by the time you get a following, they start charging anyway, and GetResponse and Aweber are heads and shoulders above. But I would really dedicate eitherwise a site or a page. I don't know what your blog or website situation is right now, and I would really start pre-marketing that, which I'm sure you've done. Really start doing a pre-launch for this book and start building your FBA following on a website and funneling your traffic through that because you've already got a good core following.
Yeah, it's really good advice. And Robert, I actually started working with GetResponse myself a little over a year ago, and I was working on building up an email list through my YouTube videos, and I was a complete noob a year ago, and GetResponse was really simple, really easy to use. really intuitive. That's what I like about certain like softwares and stuff. Like Google drives me nuts. Just trying to get this Hangout up and trying to find the link, driving me insane because it's really not intuitive. But GetResponse is really intuitive. It's simple to use, and I would highly recommend it as well. I haven't used MailChimp or any of the other ones, but it was really easy for me to use. So definitely get started with that, man.
Man, Ric Flair Picker says, couple grand to their names, you know, a curse word, which I never say. I bet, I should say I never say on video. I bet 23 of the people watching don't have a couple grand to their name. I wouldn't say that, but what I am saying is that advice, you know, you just want to make sure who you're taking advice from. I'm sure plenty of the people who watching have, well, there could be a millionaire watching. Don't judge, you know, there's a lot of multimillionaires with YouTube channels. I personally know a few of them, and there's a lot of big name YouTubers who make really good. So a lot of people, and that's another judgment. I'm not saying anything against you personally, but don't think just because it's on YouTube it's small potatoes, or just because someone's doing X. All I'm saying with that comment I made is don't judge a book by its cover, like Steve said, and don't take your advice from one person, especially someone who's not doing it. So, you know, there could be a multimillionaire watching this, or there could be someone who's living on the street, but ultimately, if you're willing to change your life, there's nothing you can't do.
Absolutely. So I'm just looking in the comment section to see if there's anyone else we can shout out. Here we got Robert Bagley talking some more in there. Let's see. I think that's all the questions that we had. I think we're going to end it for now. I mean, if you guys are just coming in, we talked about Createspace and turning your Kindle books into physical books, and we talked about a lot of different marketing techniques and tips and tricks. So definitely make sure to go back and check it out and watch it. If you guys have any more questions, make sure to leave them in the comment section. We'll definitely get back. But yeah, things are going well over at the K Business Academy. If you guys are interested in learning more about Kindle publishing and Createspace and ACX and marketing and a lot of stuff, definitely check it out. We're over at kbusinessacademy.com, and we got a video over there and some information. We also have a private Facebook group. We have something called Office Hours as well, which is kind of like these shows that we're doing now, but it's a little more intimate and it's one-on-one with the group. So that's really cool. Anything else you want to touch on with the K Business Academy and maybe future plans and everything?
Yeah, K Business Academy, like we said, we got a lot of series going on. The coolest thing about the K Business Academy, I'm so proud of this, is the fact that we've created a membership site without a monthly fee. And so even though financially it was a dumb idea for me and you, it helps everyone else. That's why we've got so many amazing members watching right now and who will watch this video. I know we're doing it kind of in an awkward time for some people, but they will watch this video. And that was our whole thing, building the community. And we've got so many updated videos that are coming in there. And everyone who got into the K Business Academy or gets in the future is going to get all those without paying monthly, because that's the biggest deterrent for a lot of people getting into that. It's like, man, I want to get the information, but it gets so expensive. And a lot of courses will charge, $50 a month, $100 a month, even $30 a month. For a lot of people, that might be tough to do. So that's the great thing about the K Business Academy. And yeah, look out for our next show. So we plan on doing this at the same time, 4 Pacific, 7 Eastern, every Thursday. Next week will be on my YouTube channel, so we're alternating back and forth. And really appreciate you guys taking a little bit of your time. I know how precious your time is, and checking this video out.
Yep. So in closing, thanks so much, guys. Really appreciate your time. Keep pushing, keep picking and making that money, and keep doing your thing. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next week, Thursday, on Cody Hawk's channel. See you around.